Former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olisa, has condemned the Economic and Financial Crime Commission (EFCC) over the recent development concerning how the Kogi State government handles or disburses its funds. Agbakoba described the recent attack on the Kogi State governor as an unwarranted media trial regarding the fresh case against a nephew of Governor Bello and the previous 20 billion naira bailout fund. The former president of the NBA condemned the act during a press conference on the rule of law in Nigeria today, held in Lagos. He said the EFCC must operate within its jurisdiction.
It's the EFCC's job to phone the MD of a bank and say, you know what, we want Olisa Abakoba's account to be PND'd. And we demand that you give us the statement of Kogi State. I mean, this current case, even though I haven't followed it in full, but sounds to me like, what is the EFCC? How does it concern them that? Is it their business how Kogi State spends their money? Is it really their business? Okay, if it's their business, is it their lawful duty to make that inquiry?
According to Agbakoba, the Supreme Court has recently ruled in one of its judgments that the EFCC should concentrate on what the law empowers it to do under Section 45 of their Act.
There's a case, because it involves a lawyer, I won't mention his name, but I was so glad to be vindicated by the Supreme Court about 5 months ago. The Supreme Court, in a very strongly worded judgment, castigated the EFCC and said, look, you know, if you interpret your powers granted under Section 46 of the EFCC Act in the way you do, then it means that you are the sole law enforcement agency in Nigeria, but you're not. So the Supreme Court redefined the functions of the EFCC in a very narrow manner as prescribed by the Act. It is not for the EFCC to be chasing the Kogi State government and saying, you know what, we're going to cut away papers from the Accountant General's office or whoever, or go to the governors, like in the case of Ojikalu. The EFCC actually went to the government house, in spite of the fact that the governor has, immunity, and carried away the government cashier. And this is not to say that we therefore condone corruption. That's not the point. But that's not the function of the EFCC. There's the police force. And in the case of that I referred to, this Supreme Court case, the Supreme Court wondered whether if the EFCC thought that it could do what it did, then what is the role of the laws of the state? So what is the role of the laws of Lagos State in relation to its criminal laws and its criminal procedural laws and its judges? So what the EFCC has done is to become a one-man Robin Hood riot band. That must not be allowed. That's the impunity I referred to. The EFCC should go and focus on the serious issues that it has been established to pursue. No, the Kogi State thing, the EFCC has no business going there to cut away documents of the government and then embark upon trials. I think it's an immediate trial, personally.
In conclusion, the former president of the NBA, Olisa Agbakoba, said 2023 presidential candidates must tell Nigerians what they are going to do with all agencies, because the people need to know if they are going to allow the EFCC to continue to engage in media trials and carry on the attack dog on the federal government against other arms and levels of government. He then challenged anybody to tell him anywhere in the world that an agency with the same functions as that of the EFCC does 3 distinct jobs: investigation, prosecution, and disposal of seized or recovered assets.